Interview with Pantellini. We're reposting this interview with Pantellini by Giuseppe Cosco. Interview with Gianfranco Valse Pantellini by Giuseppe Cosco, taken from http URL. Cosco, Professor. What is cancer? Pantellini. Cancer is a degenerative disease that also has a genetic origin. Until recently, I didn't have a clear idea of the origin of this disease, but today I'm certain that it's caused by free radicals released into the cell by the mitochondria. With these free radicals, the mitochondria attack the cell's nucleus 10,000 times a day, attempting to subvert it. This action of the mitochondria is preceded by an enzyme inherent to the cell itself that, by its very nature, eliminates these free radicals. The production of this enzyme is regulated by a gene. This enzyme is superoxide dismutase, a powerful reducing agent that counteracts the action of free radicals. If free radicals, due to specific physiological conditions and even endogenous stress, internal oxidative stress, manage to eliminate this enzyme from cells or from a single cell, it is certain that tumors will develop. Cancer is a manifestation of this cellular defect. C. What do you think of chemotherapy? Pantellini. I won't say anything about chemotherapy, because we already know everything about it. It has a deleterious and devastating effect on the entire organism. Chemotherapy is based on an axiom, or rather a paradox. What causes cancer, cures it. Look at the absurdity that has come to this. In chemotherapy, cyclophosphamide is nothing more than a chelated mustard gas that is introduced into the body, causing fusion reactions in the tissues, releasing 4 molecules of hydrochloric acid. So how can we think of curing cancer with hydrochloric acid? C. How did you come to understand the importance of potassium ascorbate for the prevention and treatment of cancer? Pantellini. It was a sick man who introduced me to potassium ascorbate. He swapped sodium bicarbonate for potassium bicarbonate. Professor Pantellini recounts that in 1948, a woman whose husband was in very serious condition, having stomach cancer deemed inoperable, turned to him to at least alleviate the poor man's terrible pain. Pantellini advised her to give him sweetened lemonade with sodium bicarbonate. Months later, she saw this man on the street, when she thought he was already dead, and discovered that, by mistake, he had put potassium bicarbonate in the lemonade instead of sodium bicarbonate. Editor's note. And that's where my research began. C. This salt. Pantellini. It's the strongest antioxidant we have available today. It's not harmful, it's rapidly absorbed, and it works on cancer. In fact, tumors treated with potassium ascorbate either regress, stop, or progress more slowly. The case history is very, very, very broad and positive. C. What are the dosages? Pantellini. For prevention, you can take 2 or 3 doses a week, in the morning on an empty stomach, for 4 or 5 consecutive months, then stop for a month and start again. For treatment, however, you need to take 3 doses a day. That is, you need to take the preventive dose of 0.15 grams of ascorbic acid and 0.30 grams of potassium bicarbonate, 3 times a day. C. Can I write that in the case of tumors that are considered early, ascorbate results in complete healing? Pantellini. Certainly, the tumor regression rate is 100%. I see. Are there other diseases that respond well to this treatment? Pantellini. Taking potassium ascorbate in AIDS patients keeps the individual HIV positive but doesn't allow them to progress to the next stage. We're carrying out an experimental therapy protocol in this regard, and the results are very interesting. C. People who have been receiving preventative treatment since 1970 have. Pantellini. None of them, and there are many hundreds of them, have been affected by cancer or viral diseases. C. Professor. Are you alone in this work? Pantellini. I'm supported by many other researchers, both Italian and foreign, and then in America, several scientists, including Erwin Stone, Cameron, and Pauling. Editor's note. Are carrying out similar experimental protocols, based on sodium ascorbate. C. If potassium ascorbate were administered on a large scale, would we have incredible results? Pantellini. Yes, but these aren't things I can do. I can offer some advice. We need to mobilize those responsible for public health, starting with the Minister of Health. C. Cancer is also a business, and the economic interests surrounding it are truly numerous, and from everything that's emerged, the filth of state healthcare. Pantellini. It was logical. It's not a discovery that healthcare is bad. It would have been better if Italian politicians had looked more deeply into the interests and health of the people, that is, a few drugs, but good, well-tested ones, rather than countless drugs, even at very high prices, that are useless and harmful. C. They experiment extensively on animals. Pantellini. It's difficult to apply animal experiments to humans. Humans have very different pharmacological effects. For example, a rabbit can eat atropine without experiencing any problems, while humans die. C. In your opinion, is the blindness of professors the result of ignorance or bad faith? Pantellini. I don't know what's behind it, but many of them have died of cancer, which I tried to save. C. Given the very low cost of potassium ascorbate, a few hundred lire, have the pharmaceutical companies tried to put a spoke in its wheels? Pantellini. They've tried, even through their emissaries belonging to a certain type of medical class, but it's difficult to stop the march of potassium ascorbate. C. Are there doctors in Italy who use ascorbate? Pantellini. There are excellent doctors in Italy, excellent surgeons, even excellent oncologists who use potassium ascorbate. C. Where can you find potassium ascorbate? Pantellini. Many pharmacies prepare it well. I can't name them, but there are pharmacies in Florence, Treviso, Verona, Milan, and Bologna that stock potassium ascorbate in the perfect dosage and sealed in airtight sachets. C. Professor. One last question. Do anxiety and stress play a role in the development of cancer? Pantellini. Certainly. The mind and its complex connections with the body are of great importance. I am certain that the onset of cancer is due to the re-emergence of an evolutionary structure of living matter, which occurred a few million years ago, and that this is repeated today. When the self-regulating genes of cellular chemistry are inactivated in their enzymatic chemistry by stress of any kind. Giuseppe Cosco.